Hello friends, welcome to PDF for Exams YouTube channel. I hope you all are doing well and your preparation is on right track. So we are learning polity and today is day 7. So let's see what we are going to learn in this video. In this video we will be learning about state legislature and union territories. In previous video we learned about union legislature. So as I told, wherever the word union comes, it means the government dealing with center or the central government, and here it's very clear by the name itself, it is state legislature. So before starting the video, I am telling you that how we are going to study today. So today we will study or do a comparative analysis between union legislature and state legislature, because there are many common points between both legislation, and it would be a kind of revision of your previous class, and we'll learn the differences or the new things in state legislature that is different from union legislature. So let's begin revising from the last class. I'll give you the glimpse of last class, what we did there, or what was the form or structure of union legislature. So under a union legislature, we saw that there was a president and two houses. That was called, complete structure was called the parliament. So those two houses were the Rajya Sabha, upper house, and Lok Sabha, the lower house. So this was complete structure of parliament in union legislature. And what is the most important factor and difference from state legislature? Before seeing the difference, let's see what is there in state legislature. So in state legislature, any state may be bicameral or unicameral. What do you mean by this bicameral and unicameral word? So bi means two, by the name it's clear, and cameral means house. So any state which has two houses is called bicameral, or any state which has one house is called unicameral. So it's not necessary for any states to have bicameral. It's state's choice whether they want to have a bicameral house in their legislation or unicameral house in their legislation. It depends completely on the state. It's their choice. But in case of parliament or union legislation or central legislation, the parliament, it is prescribed in Article 79. It is mentioned over there that we cannot exempt the dual house in central level or union level. There both the houses are to be mandatory. That means Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha has to be present. But in case of state, it's not necessary that two houses of state shall be present. There it might one house be present or both houses might be present at state level. And what are the houses that are present at state level? So they are Legislative Assembly. In Hindi we call it Vidhan Sabha, and the upper house is called Legislative Council. In Hindi we call it Vidhan Parishad. And for central level, the Hindi names were adopted after 1956 some act, but here the names are given in Hindi itself. But in English we call it Legislative Assembly for Vidhan Sabha, and Vidhan Parishad in English is called Legislative Council. So these are just name given to them. And once again, I'm clarifying over here that at central level it is necessary for the parliament or for the legislature to have dual house, or it should be bicameral, that is Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. They cannot exempt any of these houses, which is mentioned in Article 79 of our Constitution, whereas in state it's not necessary for any state to have dual houses, that is Legislative Council and Legislative Assembly. It depends upon state whether they want to have it or they don't want to have. So let's start today's video and see what are mentioned over here. So over here it is mentioned that Article 168 to 212 in part 6 of the Constitution deal with state legislature. So this part, as we know, our Constitution is divided into several parts. So part 5 deal with state executive, union executive and union legislature, and part 6 deal with state executive and state legislature. So we can say that part 5 of Constitution deals with the central government, whereas part 6 of the Constitution deals with state government. So moving further, in state legislature, as it was there in union legislature, we had president, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Here we have a governor and a legislative setup. Now, what is legislative setup? Legislative setup simply means the number of houses, whether it's unicameral or bicameral. So if we go by the present scenario, if we see the present scenario, only 6 states in our country have Legislative Council, whereas other states have only single house, that is Legislative Assembly. And what are those houses which have this Legislative Council? Those are Maharashtra, Karnataka, Bihar, Uttar Pradesh, Telangana and Andhra Pradesh. And you know, there is one important factor, that Andhra Pradesh or any state, if these states want to dissolve this Legislative Council, they can easily do it by just passing resolution in the lower houses, and that would be passed to Parliament. Parliament is the central government. Over there they can just abolish or create legislation according to the requirement of state. If any state wants to, for example, let's take an example over here. Let us consider any state. If we take Tamil Nadu as an example, I'm just considering example. I'm not saying that this house has a council or it will have a council. I'm just taking example for explanation. So let's take an example. If Tamil Nadu wants to create its legislation council, till now it has legislative assembly in its state, but this state wants to create a legislative council. So what they will do, they will just pass a resolution from legislative assembly. This resolution will go to parliament. Parliament is what? The union legislature. From there they will do simple majority voting, and finally this legislative council will be made. The second house of the state will be made. Similarly, it is the same process when any state want to dissolve the legislative council. If, for example, we know that there are 6 states which have legislative council, like Maharashtra, Karnataka, Bihar, Uttar Pradesh, Telangana, Andhra Pradesh. So for example, if Uttar Pradesh, it has its legislative council house and it want to dissolve this house, similar action will be taken. A resolution will pass by majority voting, that is 2/3 of voting, that will be given to parliament. Parliament will do simple majority voting and will pass back to state, and which will completely dissolve the legislative council of that particular state. What is the complete procedure? We'll see later what is the complete exact procedure, how these houses are meant or how these houses are dissolved. But for now, by simple method how it is done, I've told you over here. So now let's begin with the very first house, or the house which most of state has. That's the legislative assembly. So legislative assembly, if we compare with our union union legislature, so it would be compared to Lok Sabha. It is very much similar to Lok Sabha. So in Lok Sabha, what we had, we have seen that the maximum strength of Lok Sabha could be 552. That is mentioned in our constitution, and at present we have only 545 members in Lok Sabha, out of which 2 are nominated by the president. Why these nominations are done? These nominations are done, and these nominations are from Anglo-Indians. So whenever a president feels that some specific community has not been represented in that Lok Sabha, in that case president will give assent or give nomination to these 2 members in Lok Sabha. So it is similar in case with legislative assembly. So let's see what are the points written over here. So members are chosen by direct election. So we saw that in Lok Sabha how members were chosen or selected. They were elected directly by the people of India by adult votage. That means people who are above 18 years of age in complete or entire country could vote for member of parliament. Who are these member of parliament? The ministers or the elected members who are sitting in either Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha are called member of parliament, whereas the election for Lok Sabha was done by directly done by people, and election for Rajya Sabha was done by representation method. So we'll compare this with legislative council later, how the election of this legislative council members are done. But for now we are comparing legislative assembly with Lok Sabha. So in Lok Sabha direct election was done. Similarly, direct elections are done in legislative assembly also from the people who are above age of 18. It can vary. If state want, it can change the law because it comes under its list for making the law. Now what is the strength? In Lok Sabha I've told the strength, it is for 545 at present, but in state it's not fixed. It can vary from 660 to 500, and this number is also not fixed, that state should have minimum of 60 state or maximum of 500 seats in legislative assembly. This is also not absolute, or that means it has to be a minimum number should be there 60 and maximum should not exceed more than 500. But there are certain states like Sikkim, Goa, Mizoram and Arunachal Pradesh which have less than 60 members. Why they have less than 60 members? Because the number of members elected in assembly depends on the population of the state, and as we have seen in last video that in Lok Sabha how the members or the seats were allotted, it was directly some ratio was maintained over there, so that ratio is same in the state as well as the territorial constituencies whatever were developed in that state. For example, if our country today in today's video I have got a map. Let's see from the map itself so that it would be little more clearer. Where's the map? Here. So the complete map cannot be seen in this video, so I'll just take an example of one state over here. So if we are considering the elections of Lok Sabha, what used to happen over there, all the states were divided into territorial constituencies, and in the state itself several territorial constituencies or several seats were divided. So these seats were divided on the basis so that the ratio is maintained within the state as well as among the states. That means this ratio was maintained for the election. So in case of any state, seats are designated seats are made so that its ratio is maintained. That's why all the state does not have equal number of seats, or as we said that minimum number of seats should be 60 and maximum should not more than 500 in case of legislative assembly. See, don't get confused. I'm just comparing both the houses at union level, at state level. So for legislative assembly and Lok Sabha, elections are done directly by people of India who are above 18 age. But here, as we see that the states were divided into territorial constituencies in Lok Sabha, and in case of states also these seats are divided according to territorial constituencies, but the seat varies over here, 60 and 500, and in some cases it is below 60 just because they have to maintain a particular ratio from state to state. So that ratio should be maintained. That's why these seats, number of seats varies everywhere. So where we were, let's get back to the point what we were discussing, where it is, just a minute. Yeah, we were discussing about legislative assembly. So we saw the number of seats, how they are mentioned or how they are framed. After that, I've also told about the nomination of the Anglo-Indian community in assembly, one member in case of legislative assembly. What was the number of nomination in Lok Sabha? It was 2. So 2 number could be nominated from Anglo-Indian community in the assembly by president in case of union legislator, but here it is governor who is constitutional head of state. So just keep comparing over here. If we divide union and state, in union or at union level, president is constitutional head, here governor is constitutional head. So who is responsible for nomination? At state level, president is responsible for nomination, but at state level, governor is responsible for nomination of the members in the assembly. At central level or union level, what houses we have? We have Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, and here we have legislative assembly and legislative council. So we can compare these two with each other. So in Lok Sabha, how many people were nominated? How many Anglo-Indians were nominated? It was 2 in number, whereas in state it is 1. That means 1 member can be nominated by governor in state from Anglo-Indian community if he feels that that particular community has not been properly represented in that state's legislative assembly. So this was about the nomination. Now what should be the tenure of the assembly? Now how these election were done, we have already seen the executive part, what was done over there. When legislative council or legislative assembly was formed, there was a chief minister or head of these members, and a council of ministers were formed. There were several ministers who were responsible and acted to execute or serve anything that was to be done in the state. So the tenure of this group or the ruling party, or after election, they can be in term of office for 5 years. Now friends, the thing important over here is that this tenure is 5 years. Although it is 5 years, but it can increase or decrease. It depends on several conditions. That it's not necessary that the party who's ruling at state level has to serve for 5 years. In case there is national emergency, the tenure of this period can be extended by 1 year each. That means if the national emergency lasts for 1 year, it can be extended 1 year. If it continues for the next year, the tenure of the assembly will be added 1 more year. That means it can made up to 7 years, or it can continuously go on until and unless the national emergency continues. But in case after the national emergency is ceased to operate after 6 months of that ceasing date, this house or these members will be dissolved. The office of these members will be dissolved, and again re-election will be done. And in what case this tenure can be reduced? So it depends upon governor. So as we know, governor is the constitutional head of a state. So if he feels that the person who are ruling at state level do not abide the constitution, or there is any kind of violation of constitution or against DSP, or anything happens at the state level which governor feels is not good for national interest, at that time also governor can ask president to get president rule in that particular state. So in this scenario also, the tenure of this legislative assembly may dissolve or may reduce from 5 years. So if anyone asks you what is the tenure of legislative assembly, so it's 5 years. Generally it's 5 years, but not absolutely for 5 years. It can either extend or it can either reduce. So this was all about legislative assembly. So moving to next house, which is called Legislative Council. So as already discussed, what is this Legislative Council? It is not a permanent body. it depends on state or their requirement. If someone wants, or some state, not someone, if some state want to get a legislative council or the upper house for them, well and good. Method I've already told how they can get a legislative council in that state. If they do not want, they can also abolish that legislative council from their state. Andhra Pradesh is example. Andhra Pradesh has several times abolished and reformed it legislative council. So let's see how it is done. So parliamentary may law by create or abolish legislative council. So who is responsible for abolition or creation? Parliament. How parliament is responsible? As I've told you the process, the resolution is passed from legislative assembly and it is sent to parliament, and parliament is the ultimate power who has the power to create the legislative council or dissolve the legislative council if it is present. So it is in hands of parliament. Only parliament can decide, or if they want, this council can be created or dissolved. And that means the time is not properly mentioned in the constitution, that parliament should take, or within 6 months or within 1 year they have to give their assent to that bill or ordinance that is passed from legislative assembly to parliament. So if parliament want, it can withhold the assent or the resolution passed from legislative assembly, and if they want, they can just pass on for easy formation of legislative council. So this was all about the formation of and abolition of legislative council. And what are the members of legislative council? So it is not denoted directly, so it is actually given in ratio, and most of the people are nominated and few are elected. So what is the ratio that has to be maintained over here? So it is generally it can be remembered by formula of 1/3, 1/3, 1/12, 1/12, and finally 1/6. So let's see let's see each of them one by one. So article 171 contain categories of these members. So these members of legislative assembly, or who will be member of legislative assembly, will be decided by article 71. It is mentioned there. So what is mentioned in article 171? That 1/3 of this member assembly will be elected by legislative assembly. So for example, let's take in legislative council there are 90 members. So 1/3 of this member, that means 30 members will be elected by legislative assembly, 1/3 by local bodies, 30 members by local bodies like municipal corporation and all. 1/6 will be nominated by governor. So governor, who is responsible for nomination in legislative assembly, over there only one member can be nominated. From where? From Anglo-Indian community, who is not properly represented in legislative assembly. But in case of legislative council, the members are nominated from other various fields, not from the Anglo-Indian community. And what are those fields? So those fields are art, literature, social service. So these are the fields from where the members of legislative council are added by the governor or nominated by governor in legislative council. So this is the criteria. And 1/12 by university graduate, that means of 3 years standing and residing within the state. And one important or one extra segment that is added over here in this case is cooperative movement. In case of Rajya Sabha, members from which community were nominated, that was literature, science and social services. These were the categories or the places from there. 12 members in Rajya Sabha were nominated by whom? By president. But in case of legislative council, it is the categories are art, science, literature, social service and this cooperative movement. These are the categories from where the members are nominated. How many members are nominated? So I have just taken example over here. If there are 90 members in legislative council, so those will be nominated. 1/12 member will be nominated by governor from these categories. And what is the maximum strength? So in case of Rajya Sabha, what was the maximum strength? It was 245. But here the strength is decided by 1/3 of total member of legislative assembly and no case less than 40. That means the members in legislative council are decided by dividing the number in Lok Sabha assembly by 3. That means if there are 100 members there in legislative assembly, so maximum strength in legislative council could be 34, somewhere near 34. But in case of legislative council of Jammu and Kashmir, it has 36 members. So this is exception. In case of states, there are several exceptions as the population differs from state to state. And who decide the final powers? The final parliament. Parliament has final power to decide about the composition of legislative council. So this is all about Legislative Council. Let's see the qualification. So we are dealing with qualification of both Legislative Council as well as Legislative Assembly together over here. We're not going individually. So let's see what is the qualification of Legislative Assembly, members of Legislative Assembly. So according to Article 173, it is mentioned in Article 73 the qualification of Legislative Assembly and Legislative Council. So here it is mentioned that the first and common citizen of India, so any members whether from Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, Legislative Assembly, Legislative Council, this is common criteria or qualification that the person should be a citizen of India. And other common thing is that age is also common, 25 years age. In case of Lok Sabha also the age was 25 years minimum age. In case of Legislative Assembly the age is 25, and in case of Legislative Council it should not be less than 30 years, similar it was in Rajya Sabha. And other qualification may be prescribed by Parliament. Over here Parliament will describe the other qualification and what are those qualifications. So those qualifications may vary from state to state or from condition to condition. So those qualifications are mentioned in People of Representation Act 1956 or in DPSP. Somewhere those qualifications are mentioned by the Parliament. And according to 190, what does this state? This article states that no person shall be a member of both house, state legislature, and if anyone gets elected to both house, he has to vacate one seat. It's also very commonly understood that if any member is elected in Legislative Assembly and he is also elected in Legislative Council, then he has to vacate his one seat. No person can preside on dual seat at one go. So this is about the qualification of Legislative Council and Legislative Assembly. A member of Legislative Assembly and Legislative Council, whoever wants to be member of Legislative Assembly or Council, they have to follow these qualifications. If they are not qualified up to these segment, they cannot be elected as member of Legislative Assembly or Legislative Council. Now moving to the power and function of Legislative Assembly. So what are the power of Legislative Assembly? So we will compare these powers with Lok Sabha also. So similarly, as we have seen that Lok Sabha was responsible for creation of new law, amendment of law, creation of passing of bills, or several kind of functions were there with Lok Sabha. So similar in this case also we have several functions of Legislative Assembly for formation of law or regulation of money that is there in the fund of the state. So I'm not going through this one by one. I will just compare the function of both state and union legislator and what is the difference between both the cases. So in case of, and here I will also go through the function of Legislative Council also together. So in a case of Lok Sabha, what we saw, in case of Lok Sabha, we saw that there can be several bills like ordinary bill, money bill, financial bill, and one more bill was there, I don't remember. So 4 kind of bills were there in case of Lok Sabha, but here in case of Legislative Assembly, only 2 kind of, and yes, constitutional amendment bill was the 4th one. So these kind of bills could be passed and made as act in Lok Sabha. And in case of Legislative Assembly, only 2 kinds of bill can be passed. The first is ordinary bill and the other is money bill. So let's see them one by one how these bills are passed. So we saw that ordinary bill could be passed in any house of, we'll first divide this. This is union legislator and this is state legislator. And what we are dealing with? We are dealing with ordinary bill. So how this ordinary bill is passed in both the houses. So as we saw in case of Parliament, in Parliament as we know it is the union legislator. So this ordinary bill could be passed in any of the houses. What were the houses? Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. These were the houses. In this case, what are the houses? This is Legislative Assembly and Legislative Council. So it's not necessary that state will have both house. Only 6 states have these 2 houses, or else most of the state are single unicameral and they consist of only this Legislative Assembly. So let's see what are the procedure, how this passes of bill is taken place over here. So in case of ordinary bill, it could be passed in Lok Sabha. Let's take example over here. It is passed in Lok Sabha and then it is voting is done over here, and then it was transferred to Rajya Sabha, and once Rajya Sabha approves it, it was passed to President for action. Very simple. It is same over here. If any bill is introduced, any ordinary bill is introduced in Legislative Assembly, voting is done, passed through Legislative Council if present, and ultimately passed through Governor for accent to make it a bill. This is also very simple and almost common to Union Legislature. And what is the other case? Other case could be just reverse of it. If the bill initiated in Raj Sabha over here, it will be passed to Lok Sabha and then to President. And over here, if the bill is introduced in Legislative Council, it will pass to Assembly and then to Governor for giving their accent. Now, the problem arises when, or what is the difference between proceeding of ordinary bill in case of union and states? See, let's see here. See this very carefully. This is very important over here. So I'm considering this Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha. And over here, what are the houses? Vidhan Sabha and Vidhan Parishad, or Legislative Assembly and Legislative Council. And what is the first case? There are several cases. First case is that a bill is, I'm just taking example or initiating the bill in Lok Sabha. The same scenario can be considered if the bill is introduced in Raj Sabha, and in case of state, if it is introduced in Vidhan Parishad or Vidhan Sabha. So I'm taking example of Lok Sabha over here and Vidhan Sabha over here. So let's take example. If an ordinary bill is initiated in Lok Sabha, it passes this to Rajya Sabha. Rajya Sabha give its directly accent and passes to President, and it is made a law. What is the second scenario? Second scenario is that Lok Sabha passes the bill to Rajya Sabha, and Rajya Sabha denies. Rajya Sabha doesn't approve the bill, and it can withhold the bill for maximum of 6 months. In case Lok Sabha passes some bill and Rajya Sabha doesn't like that ordinary bill, and it can keep the bill or withhold the bill with itself for maximum period of 6 months, and after that this will be sent to Lok Sabha. And in that scenario, if Lok Sabha again passes the bill to Rajya Sabha, that bill has to be passed by Rajya Sabha, given to President. And what are the President's power? We've already seen, so I'm not going through detail in that because it will increase the time of the video. So this scenario was that. So let's repeat again. Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, President directly given assent. Second case, Lok Sabha gives a bill to Rajya Sabha. Rajya Sabha doesn't like it and keep it for 6 months. And second time, if again this bill is passed from Lok Sabha to Rajya Sabha, they have to give their assent and will be passed to President for making the bill. What is the third scenario? Third scenario is that if Lok Sabha gives the bill and it passes to Rajya Sabha, and Rajya Sabha asks for some kind of amendment and sends back to Lok Sabha. In that case also, Lok Sabha may accept the amendment or may not accept the amendment and pass to Rajya Sabha, and which will be ultimately given to President. So these are the cases. But at some time what happens if Lok Sabha doesn't like the amendment given by Rajya Sabha and it passes without consent or without changing, Rajya Sabha may withhold that bill. So what happens over here? Bill is not moving forward to President for making it law. So in that case, deadlock happens. Deadlock is the case or scenario in which Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha doesn't agree on same bill. So this similar cases arises over here. So I'm not writing these cases again, but just consider bill passed from Vidhan Parishad to Vidhan Sabha to Vidhan Parishad, given to Governor. Bill from Vidhan Sabha to Vidhan Parishad, Vidhan Parishad doesn't like the bill, can keep the bill for 3 months and passes it back to Vidhan Sabha. Vidhan Sabha can again give the bill to Vidhan Parishad. It can next time in second installment, it can keep maximum for 1 month, not more than that. And after 1 month, it has to pass the bill to Governor for becoming law. This is the second case. What is the third case? Vidhan Sabha gives, or Vidhan Sabha, Legislative Assembly. Don't get confused. Vidhan Sabha is also called Legislative Assembly in English. So when it passes the bill to Vidhan Parishad, and Vidhan Parishad just asks for amendment, and these amendments are not liked by Vidhan Sabha as it was in case of Lok Sabha. So if Vidhan Sabha doesn't like the amendment, then we'll say that deadlock happens over here, or it just rejects the bill. Whatever bill was given to Vidhan Parishad, it just rejects bill directly and doesn't give us approval. So in that case, we'll say deadlock will there is deadlock, we can call for joint meeting. But here there is no provision for joint meeting in case of state legislature. But here what happened, whenever there was deadlock, whenever these two scenario happens, in that case President could call for joint meeting and a voting was done in that case. So this is all about what the ordinary bill that are produced in or initiated in any of these houses. I hope you understood. If there is any confusion, you can ask me in the comment box. I'll try to explain it again in next video, or else I'll make a separate video on this regarding all kinds of bill and money bill or ordinary bill or whatever bills are being passed in both of the houses, I'll give a comparative analysis of these things. So this is what happens with ordinary bill. Now what is the second bill? Second bill is the money bill. Now money bill, as we can see or we have seen in case of Lok Sabha or the parliament, and over here in state legislature. So money bill is the bill which can only initiate in Lok Sabha in case of parliament, whereas it can only initiate in legislative assembly in case of state legislature. And who certifies whether the bill is money bill or not? So in case of Lok Sabha, speaker certified, and similar is the case over here, speaker certifies the bill is a money bill or not. And what happened to money bill? Money bill is simple. It can just give to Rajya Sabha, Legislative Council if it is present. See, keep noticing over here, it's not necessary that every state will have this Legislative Council. If it is not there, Legislative Assembly is responsible for every bill and everything whatever is going on there, and it is just asked from governor to give his assent, and if governor like, he'll give his assent. If he doesn't like, he won't give his assent. So as I said, the very important factor over here regarding the money bill is that money bill can only be reduced in the Lok Sabha lower house in case of parliament, whereas legislative assembly in case of state legislature. So what happens after that? So if this bill is introduced in over here, it is passed to Rajya Sabha, and here it is passed to Legislative Council if present. Now this Legislative Council, whether like or they don't like, they have to give their assent. Over here also, Rajya Sabha also cannot give any cannot withhold the bill for bill with them. And what is the maximum number of days for which this Vidhan Parishad or Legislative Council hold the money bill is maximum of 14 days, not more than that. This is the maximum period of time for which an Vidhan Parishad can hold a money bill with, and after that it has to pass to government, or it will be considered to given to governor. Now governor in case of money bill, governor do not have the veto power. What is the veto power? Holding the bill. So if the bill is money bill passed to governor cannot hold that bill, he has to give his assent. Similar it was in case of money bill which was related in parliament also. The president had to give his assent, because in that case also president do not have the veto power. Veto is the withholding power, and it has to be kept there. And what are the other options that governor have? So in case of governor, president directly gave his assent, but in case of governor, he has the other option. What is the other option? He can keep the bill for consideration with president, if whether it may be any kind of bill. If governor wants, he can keep that particular bill for consideration with president. And what will president do in that case? So in that case, if the bill is with kept for the president, from governor he will send the bill to president. Now president, if it is okay for him, if he thinks that okay, the bill is fine and not doing any harm to national interest, or it is very good, absolutely fine, so he'll directly give assent, and it will be given back to assembly and become law. But in case president thinks that there is some problem in that bill, so for that, in that case, president will ask for amendment, and he will ask governor to send this bill to legislative assembly for that particular amendment which should be there. Now after these amendments will be done, this bill will not be given to governor. So this is the important point which needs to be considered over here. Once the bill which has been sent to president for consult, after the president giving any kind of amendment if required, will be given to governor to give it to legislative assembly. But legislative assembly, when second time they are passing the bill, they will not give to governor, they will directly give to president, and governor will have no role in giving assent so that particular bill become an act. In this case, this bill will be given to the president, and president will give his approval for bill to become an act. So this was all about the functioning of legislative assembly. I hope you understood how this legislative assembly and legislative council works, and there are certain power and function of legislative council also. Let's see them in brief over here. So as regarding to power, council does play an advisory role. So it is not very prominent house over there, as we have seen in case of Rajya Sabha. Rajya Sabha played a very prominent role in formation of laws and acts, but in case of state government, this this legislative council is just an advisory board, and it doesn't play a very prominent role. So if we understand simply, we can just say that Rajya Sabha is second house which is very important, and it shall be present in parliament, which is given in article 79. So I've told this many times, so you might have been memorized to you till now. But in case of Vidhan Parishad or Legislative Council, it is the secondary house, not the second. Secondary means you know very well. If any work is going on and if any work is done with primary, there is no need of the secondary person. So here, in case of state legislator, legislative council is just an secondary house for them. And bill other than money bill may originate in either of the house, as I told earlier and explained over here, that apart from money bill, it may be ordinary bill, it can originate in any of the house, whether it is legislative council or legislative assembly. So these are the powers, and I've discussed about the powers of legislative council along with the powers of legislative assembly, so I'm not repeating again so that the video doesn't last too long. So now coming to the speaker and deputy speaker. So it is both the speaker and deputy speaker are very common, as they were in case of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. So again, I'll do a comparative analysis over here. So let's consider over here at state level, or sorry, union legislator, here state legislator. So as we saw that there were two houses. What were the houses? Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha. Here also we had two houses. It's not necessary to have, again and again I'm telling, it's not necessary, it depends upon state, and till now only 6 states have both bicameral system of legislator, or else most of the states have single legislator or single house, that is legislative assembly. So speaker, who are the speakers? Speaker are the person who are responsible for operation of business, whatever is going on in that house. So in case of Lok Sabha, there was a speaker, there was a deputy speaker. In case of legislative assembly also, we have a speaker and a deputy speaker. And who are these and from where they are appointed? So these speaker are appointed from the member among the members of Lok Sabha. So if there are 545 members, out of these, one member will be elected as speaker over there. And after the 11th Lok Sabha election, we saw that important prominent change was done there, that the party who is ruling, man or the woman from that party will be the speaker, whereas deputy speaker will be from opposite party. It's not absolute, but yeah, it is generally seen. And in case of legislative assembly also, the speaker and deputy speaker, these will be a member of legislative assembly itself. They will be chosen from these members. And in case of Rajya Sabha, who is the presiding officer? These speakers and deputy speakers are the presiding officer who are concerned with operation of business, whatever is going on in that particular house. So see friends, very important point to be noted over here, that in case of Rajya Sabha, the presiding officer is president, but in case of legislative council, the presiding officer is again the chairman or the speaker, who is elected among the legislative council. So this is the very important difference. Don't get confused over here. In Rajya Sabha, presiding officer is vice president, but here a common member from the legislative council itself. So this is very big difference and very important point to be noted from this place. Now we talk about the elections. We have seen how they are elected, and if we talk about the resignation, so speaker, if you want to resign, he can just give in termination resignation letter to the deputy speaker, and if deputy speaker want to resign, he can give termination letter to speaker in case of both houses. So this is what we call so this is how the speakers function. And if we talk about the removal, so they can be removal after house is dissolved. So it was same in case of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha or parliament also. If the complete house is dissolved due to end of session or due to any other reason, so in that case also the speaker will be removed. And the other reason is that the speaker can be removed by 14 and or by passing of resolution. Any resolution is passed from the majority of the particular house. So if there is a speaker in state legislature and that speaker has to be removed, so a resolution is passed from that particular house. If the speaker from legislative assembly has to be removed, or the resolution is passed, voting is done, and if voting is in favor of the removal, the speaker is removed, and if it is against that, the speaker is still there. And these two people, the speaker and deputy speaker, cannot be removed. They have to be given a notice period of 14 days. Apart from this, they won't be removed. So this is all about the speaker and deputy speaker. Now moving to Parliament's control over state legislator. What does this mean, Parliament control over state legislator, and how does they control? So as we have seen, we have got federal kind of government. Federal kind means we will have a legislative and executive body at central level as well as state level. So as we know, India is a big country, and it was very difficult to control India from one place. That's why this federal form of government was adopted. But again, when the country was formed, we didn't have states. A few states were dependent on themselves. Few states wanted to join India, whereas few states wanted to join Pakistan. So for that purpose, control over the state legislation was very important from center. So because of that, these provisions are given. Let's see what are the controls. So state legislature can neither legislate on any item of the union list non-residuary subject. Now actually what is important over here, or what are the exceptions given over here? What are these legislators meant for? So as we know, these legislators are for amending the laws, or if required, amending the laws which are present in constitution. But in case of state, they are restricted from making laws from the item which belongs to union list or residuary subject. If the item belongs from these lists, state legislator cannot function on that. To understand simply, there is a schedule 7 in our Indian constitution which tells, or which provides the complete list for state, center, and there is a concurrent list on which these particular bodies can make law. For example, there are 100 entries for central government, so the central government can make laws on those 100 entries only, and almost every kind of things are given at central level, whereas state level there are some restrictions given to them that they cannot make laws on these particular items. So those are given in entry list of state, which is given in schedule 7, and there is a concurrent list also which is responsible for making of laws. So these are the control of parliament over state. Control means there are some restrictions provided for state legislature on which state's legislator cannot make laws. This is very simple. What is the control of parliament over the state? So moving to the power and function of legislative council, we have already discussed this, so I'm not going to this. Next is the advocate general. Who is this advocate general? As in case of union legislator, who was the legal head? Attorney general was the legal head. Attorney general of India was the legal head of union government or at central level. But at state level, we have advocate general of that particular state, who is not constitutional, actually legal advisor of that state. So if we talk about the qualification or the office of this advocate general, a person who have the qualification to become a judge of high court can be meant as the advocate general of high court. And what does this advocate general of state do? His function is to give advice to governor regarding to the constitution. Whenever any bill or something is passed from the assembly and given to governor for assent, and if governor needs any kind of legal advice, so he will go to advocate general of that state. So this is only the functioning of advocate general of that particular state. So these are union territories and states. I'll be coming to this map again. So let's see. Let's start with union territory. Actually, union territory has started. So under Article 1 of the Constitution, it is given that the territory of India comprises of 3 categories. What are those 3 categories? Those are territories of state. Territories of state, that means that the number of states we have in our country. How many states are there? 8 states are there. Don't get confused. Somewhere it is mentioned that the number of states are 29. Those websites or those places have not been updated. You should always visit official website for data. And somewhere it is written that we have 9 union territories and 28 states. This is also wrong. We have 8 union territories and 28 states, because Goa was considered as state after 1987 amendment. Before that, Goa was also an union territory. So don't get confused with this fact. I am telling this fact from knowindia.gov.in. This is a government website, so this data are from that place. You can visit that website and see the correct data, or any other government website, so that data are not wrong whatever you are using. So what happened during the formation of constitution? When was our constitution was formed? We know at that time India was divided into princely state. Many provinces were there. More than 500 provinces were there before the independence of India. So after the independence, all the leaders of the country were trying to organize all the state into one big country or one big territory. And during that time also Pakistan was also formed. So Pakistan was trying to get some state to in their segment, whereas India was trying to get most of the state in their segment. So because of that, that time in constitution or in schedule 1, it is mentioned that India, that is Bharat, shall be a union of state, including territories mentioned in schedule 1. And what are these territories mentioned in schedule 1? Or at that time, at the beginning, the Indian states were divided into categories. They were not just divided into territories and state, it was divided into 4 categories, and those were A, B, C and D categories, or A, B, C, D types. If we take example of C type, it was Delhi, and if we take example of D type, it was Andaman and Nicobar. Now if we think, or if we want to know why these union territories are meant, so there are certain reasons why any union territories are formed. Union territories are formed so that and there are few reasons, not few reasons, there are many reasons why union territory is not state, or why union territory or special attention was to be given to any union territory. So if we understand the reason behind giving special provision to these territories was that it could be a political reason, it could be a cultural reason, or it could be a strategic reason. And what are these political reasons? Political means if any state is very political dominant. For example, if we see over here Delhi, we know Delhi is center of capital of a country. So of course, if Delhi is capital of a country, it will have a very prominent role, a very important role for a country. So because of this political importance, Delhi has been considered as union territory. Later it was converted to National Capital Territory, NCT, but we'll see that later. Before that, let's see generally what happens to a union territory. And whereas some territories have their cultural differences, for example this Dadar and Nagar Haveli, Daman and Diu, so these have few cultural phenomenon, few special cultures that should not be dominated by the other state. For example, if Dadar and Nagar Haveli are dominated by the culture of Maharashtra, that would be also a problem. So these cultures would not be dominated by the adjacent state. Because of that, these have been given a special provision of union territory. Similarly, we talk about the strategic importance. Strategic importance means the military importance. Any territory or any land of India lying which has the importance of defense. So for example, here Andaman and Nicobar Island and here Lakshadweep Island, they are the islands which are in Indian Ocean. So they are very great importance for naval or defense system of India. That's why they have been formed as national territory. So let's see what is given over here. So under Article 1 of the Constitution, we will read out what is mentioned over here. The territory of India comprises of category, territory of states. These are the number of states. How many states are there? 28. Union territories. How many union territories are there? 8. And territories that may be acquired by Government of India at any time. So there are few territories which are union territories, and they can be formed as a state or can be acquired by India at any time whenever there is requirement. The data is there, I'm not going to that. Next is, the state are the member of federal system in India and shared distribution of power with center. What is an important point over here? We have 3 types of territories. One is country, center itself, India. 1 minute. India, other is state, and third is UT. So UT in this India or the central level or state, these among these we have federal form of government. Federal form of government means we have already seen that India as well as the state both have, at central level as well as state level, both have responsibility of framing a few kinds of law out in which state is exempted from framing some of the laws in the list. So here, since these are federal form of government, they share power with each other, whereas these union territories are administered by president of a country. Very important point over here. If someone asks who administered the union territory of India, so president is responsible. It's not that president directly has to intervene or rule the union territory. It is the responsibility of president. He can appoint any person on any post. The post is also not fixed. The post could be administrative post, post could be the lieutenant governor, post could be chief minister. So these kind of posts are given to the administrator of that particular union territory, and that is decided by president, and president may also directly rule over that union territory if required. So now what are the special provision over here? So according to 7th Constitution Amendment Act in 1956, at that time what happened, Pondicherry was given a special provision, and it was given an legislative assembly. That means after this amendment, Goa had its legislative assembly. Before this, no union territory had its legislative assembly. And when this legislative assembly is formed, for any territory or for any state to have an legislative assembly, the population should be more than 6 million or 60 lakhs. So this was just a criteria for anyone to be state. I am not sure about whether it because of this Pondicherry was giving an prominent importance of being or forming of Lok Sabha legislative assembly. But Pondicherry was the first union territory to given as formation of legislative assembly, and the act by which it was given by Government of Union Territory Act 1963. So in 1963 Goa was given an option to form the union legislative assembly according to what? Government of Union Territory Act 1963. Now at that time in 1963, when Pondicherry got, at that time Pondicherry was called Puducherry, when it's got option for formation of legislative assembly in its territory, Delhi thought that Delhi should also get its own legislative assembly. But due to political importance, Delhi was continued as union territory till 1966. And after that, after Balakrishnan committee, what are these committees meant for? So these committees are meant for recommendation. For example, if any bill has been passed by a state or assembly or anywhere, and if Lok Sabha assembly or Rajya Sabha thinks that some important thought has to be done or some important thing has to be decided over it, so they form certain committee who are specialized in these kind of thing. These committee give their opinion, and if government want, they may not accept those recommendation of any particular committee. So Balakrishnan committee was the one who said that Delhi should have its own legislative assembly. But later on, Delhi was converted as to NCT, and it has got its legislative assembly. Now Delhi also had its legislative assembly, who is headed by Chief Minister. But the important thing that has to be mentioned or remembered over here is that although Delhi has its own legislative assembly, but they are exempted from 3 subject matter, that is 1, 2 and 18 entry. And what are they? Public order, police and land. Delhi government cannot act on these 3 categories, or else Delhi too has its legislative assembly. And if we talk about jurisdiction, jurisdiction means the court. So only Delhi is the union territory which has its own high court, and this was because of its population increase, and again it is the capital of a country. That's why Delhi has its own high court, whereas all the other union territory, may it be, let's see the union territory on the map so it becomes easily for you to visualize. So let's see over here. So as we can see, Andaman and Nicobar, it is near which state? It is near West Bengal or Kolkata. So the High Court of Kolkata is jurisdiction for Andaman and Nicobar. Similarly, Lakshadweep Island and these Dadar and Nagar Haveli, these are under the jurisdiction of the adjacent state near them. So only Delhi is the capital which has its own high court, or else other state do not have. So this was all about the state legislation. I hope everything is clear. Let's see if anything is left. I have talked about the special provision which is given to Delhi also. So this ends the video of the day, and I hope everything regarding state legislation is clear, and I've tried to compare state legislation with center or union legislator. Still, if you have any doubt or if you have got any confusion between the video, you can always ask in the comment box. I'll try to answer your question in next video itself. So thank you for watching, and I hope your studies are going very well, and if you're following the routine of this 100 days track, I'm sure that you will revise your syllabus entirely in a very good manner. Thank you for watching. See you next video. Till then, goodbye.